Well, I'm a financial advisor, and my job is to make people make intelligent decisions about their lives. And one of the things that I have a little bit of a problem with is asking the right questions, to have people give me a path that I can go down, whether without telling them that this is what they have to do, although I want to tell them this is what they have to do, whether they're more interested in a product that produces well but is the most expensive, or one that doesn't produce as well but saves them money in the long run. I don't want to, get them. I don't want to make the decision for them before. I want to know this a little bit more in their inner self about which would be the best result for them. I don't.
Sure.
My inclination would be to start with the high priced one. You can always get less. That's always a good thing. But to try to kick somebody up to something that costs more but does better is a harder sell.
Well, I assume the one that costs more would add more value to their lives.
Oh, yes.
Or not? Oh,
yes.
Okay. So the one that costs more, it equivocates to a higher value for them. The one that costs less, they get less value.
Right.
Obviously. So what you can do is position those as an option, but you do it in a way where the value propositions are very clear on what they're going to give up if they choose the lower one. Now, we're not going to try and convince them to buy the higher one. We're going to show them what the options are and what they're giving up on each one of them. So can you delineate between the higher and lower and be clear about what they don't get with the higher, and that would then determine to them if it's a priority for them to have what they're going to miss from the higher one?
The higher one, you could, the higher one, it's a permanent life insurance policy.
Okay.
And what the higher one does is, at the end of the day, 30 years from now, that the higher one will have a higher death benefit because it grows. It will have more cash inside the policy. It will have way more than what they put in. The lower one will give a death benefit, not as much, and the cash will be less. So if they're satisfied with just getting the instrument and they just want to get it as cheaply as they can, then maybe that's the one for them. If they're interested in getting the best bang for their buck, then maybe if they can afford it, then the higher one is the better value.
Well, it sounds like one of the separators here would be those people who have more capital than someone else. Like if they're wealthy, then they think like an investor. If they're not wealthy, they don't think like an investor. They think like just enough to cover their needs, right?
Right.
So you can make that a judgment call, that assessment, based on you identifying and understanding them better to see, obviously, the size of their portfolio would give you a good indication of that. But also their how they think. Are they investing oriented? Because you can position that higher product as an investment, right?
Right.
So you can say this question, I'll present you with a couple options. One is with investment mindset point of view, and one is just a tactical point of view of just solving an initial a problem. That's it. Would you like me to explain both to you?
Okay.
So I think just positioning the two in advance, based upon how they might want to think, will determine which they're going to choose anyways. You're not going to convince them of something they're not going to fit their frame of reference anyways. So you want to just set it up correctly so that you can point them to where they want to go based upon the positioning. So the higher end option is for people who want to have coverage for the health insurance and not worry ever again, but on top of that, want to leverage their wealth they've developed over the last 50 years. The one lower option is for those people who don't want to develop their wealth and pass more to their family, but just want to cover health issues.
Okay.
Which one, Mike? Where do you fit in these two categories, Mike? I'm just making this up. I'm just thinking out loud from your point of view. I think that will help him choose that to take the pressure off of you from selling it.
That's very good. That does what I wanted to do without getting into the nuts and bolts and the grid of it all.
Exactly. Because you're not going to win this game on the spreadsheet of benefits, because they're not going They can't process it as well as you can because you live in that world every day. They don't. They need a simple concept to frame it from to make that decision. And that's, I think, the way to position it. So they can say to themselves, yeah, I like the idea of growing and investing something. Try that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.